Welcome to the very first lab, week 1, day 3, exploring the lab environment. So let's take a look. So using the lab interface, you should be very familiar with this by now. Otherwise, just take a look around. In this pane, you see the resources up here, right? And they got different VMs, virtual machines that we're going to be using. DC1, RT1 local, MS1, and it's got your usernames and passwords. Oh, look, a whole bunch else here. Kali, ISP, INT, LX1. So all kinds of different resources for you. Okay, we looked at instructions. We can select help. There we go. Lab interface. Report a bug. Do those quite a bit. Actually, if you see a bug, you can report it too by going to help. And of course, you've got your timer here. Okay. Looking at the pane, yes, we're going to look at the display here. So we can do full screen, fit window of the machine, open a new window, reconnect. Okay. If you're using Windows Computer to access these labs, you can press the Start key on your keyboard. You have to make sure that you click in the lab here before it'll work. So if I press the Start, there we have it. So if necessary, then we can do, lightning here. You can get Control-Delete, Alt-Tab, you got your Windows keys if you need to use those. You can do type text, power, virtual keyboard, reset the gateway. Sometimes you need to do those. Okay, so now we can either do it here or we can do it here. It doesn't matter by selecting Control-Alt-Delete. There you go. What's the password? I don't know. There it is. Password. So the Windows network contains a domain controller and member server, both running Windows Server 2016. So DC1, we are actually in MS1 right now. So DC1 is one that we'll be working with. It's configured as the network's domain controller. Normally, the DC role should not be combined with other roles, but to minimize the number of VMs you have to run, this machine is also configured as a DNS server and a CA, Certificate Authority Server, and will be used for a number of other services and configurations. This VM is configured with the static IP address of 10.1.0.1. Good to know. MS10, you go back to MS10. Is configured as a member server for running applications. It runs a DHCP service to perform auto addressing for clients connecting to the network. It has the web server IIS and the email server HMail installed. This VM is also configured with the static IP address of 10.1.0.2. You will usually use the username 515 support /administrator to log in to the Windows PCs, and the password is password. Yeah, awful security practice, but it makes the activity simpler to complete. At each point in an activity, you should ensure that you are working within the correct VM. This is very important. The correct VM may usually be accessed by selecting a shortcut link in the instructions. So the MS link and back and forth, or you can go here and switch back and forth. Okay, so now we're going to go back to DC1, making sure it's active, Control-Alt-Delete, or we could have done it this way. And then click inside there, password, enter. Point to the network icon on the taskbar. The tooltip should read Corp 515. Okay. Oh, here. There it is. Right there. corp.515support.com. If the lab's not working as you expect, check that DC1 has identified the network link. If it is listed as unknown, disable and enable the adapter to reset it. So now we're going to right-click the Start button and select Network Connections. Network Connections. In the Network Connections console, right-click the Ethernet adapter and select Disable. Okay. Disable. Then we're going to right-click it and enable it again. Yep, there it is. The connection should be identified as corp.515support.com. And it is. Now we're going to switch to the other VM, the MS1. And here we are. Okay, so we're going to password that. This one also says corp.515support.com. Yep. Now in Server Manager, which is where we're at here, Server Manager, we're going to go over here to Tools, DHCP, and expand. What does it want us to do? Expand the server node. There we go. Come over here so we can see you. All right. The IPv4 node should show with a green tick. It does. If the network on MS1 has been listed as unknown, you may also need to restart the DHCP server to activate the scope. Now we're going to right-click the, okay, and right-click that, right-click this over here, right-click, and then select all tasks, and then select restart. So we'll just wait for that. Okay, now we're going to refresh it by right-click, refresh, and there they are. Right, so now we're going to select the IPv4 node and confirm that it shows with a green tick. It does. Okay. In some tasks, you will be asked to install software or other resources from a DVD. The lab user interface can load DVD ISO images for you. So if we go over here, we'll be able to see it. All right, we can do it this way. Or we can just select this link to load a DVD in MS1's optical drive. So I clicked on that. All right. Let's see. Go to File Explorer. And there it is, DVD drive. Do not install any software at this time. Yeah, we don't. Now, yeah, I'm not seeing that one. Let's go back up here. No threats. Okay. Well, it's not showing that. Resources. and put it there. Okay. Well, let's just keep going. So now we're going to select Start and Windows PowerShell Run as Administrator. Okay. I'm not seeing it on here. So what we're going to do is okay, let's close it. Run as administrator. There we go. Yes. There we go. We are there. In some exercises, you will use the traditional Windows command prompt. In others, you will use the Windows PowerShell. So the lab interface, you can automatically type commands for you when you are using Windows virtual machines. For example, host name. Watch what happens. So make sure we're clicked in here. There it is. The name of the host. The host name is MS1. Okay, so now we're going to, yeah, it's not going to let us do that. We're going to, oh, it did. I clicked on it and it went in there, so we don't need this twice. Okay, get net IP address. Boom. You're going to do it? Or no? It's frozen. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, so we're going to actually, I'm going to press up and I'm going to, there. See if anything. There we go. I just needed to wait a little longer. Scroll down. Where's the end of it? Okay, gave us our command prompt again. So now I just type exit. It's going to do that. Yep, and enter. And that exited out of there. Okay, now Kali. Hooray, Kali. Yes, it's Linux. So some of you who have taken Linux, cool. If not, that's okay. I'm going to walk you through it. So PT1-Kali VM. It's a virtual machine running the Kali Pen Testing Forensics Linux distro. Created and maintained by Offensive Security. You'll be using this VM for some security posture assessment and pen testing as penetration testing, where sometimes it's you who's going to be trying to get into the system. You're going to see whether or not you can penetrate the system. So it's for security posture assessment and pen testing activities, as well as general Linux configuration management. Kali is based on the Debian Linux distro with the GNOME desktop environment. All right, so those of you who have taken Linux know that that means something. For those of you who have not, this is just FYI. It's nothing that you're going to need to worry about at this point in time. It's just a flavor is all. Okay. So we're going to the Kali. Okay. In some browsers you may see the start button, which is what we did. So it's a graphical bug. All right. So when the VM is started, log in with the username root. Okay, and as we know, those of us who took Linux last term, you don't log in as root. You log in as yourself, as user, and then you can super user or switch user to root. But we're going to go ahead. And what's the password? Capital P-A-S, oh, no. Capital P-A, $, W0RD. Enter. In this virtualization environment, the Linux VMs, virtual machines, can fail to register the first key press after you click into the screen. Yes, I've noticed that as I've done these. So you may need to press and then go backwards and do it again. Also, you cannot use the automatic text type feature with the Linux virtual machines. Okay. Kali will screen lock if not used. To restore the screen, click and drag the privacy shader up rather than just clicking it. I'm just going to click it. Boom. Okay, so take a few moments to familiarize yourself with the desktop. Some key points to note are the desktop contains shortcuts to some of the applications, notably Firefox. There's Firefox there. And Thunderbird is the web. This is email. Wireshark. Remember Wireshark. This is capture. We're going to do some packet capturing with these. On the top menu panel, you can access shortcuts to all applications plus shortcuts for the file browser and the terminal. They're up here. There's the terminal. There's file. Right, that's going to the root directory. Minimize, so you can kind of goof around with that. The network icon. There's your network icon right there. Boom. The panel shows allows you to change network settings using the network manager application. If we come over a little bit, I need to scooch. All right. So there is your power icon, allows you to reboot and shut down the VM. Okay, so what you're seeing here is there are different kinds, different flavors of desktop that you can choose. This one happens to be the GNOME. There are others. There's Cinnamon, and well, just trust me, there are other ones that you can use. You can make it look like Windows. You can make it look like Apple. You can move things around. It's really kind of nice. Right click the desktop and select open terminal here. Well, we can click that right there. There's a terminal, but we can just right click open terminal here. All right, so now, cancel. Let's come up here and make sure we get all these guys taken care of. Boom. All right. So deep breaths, it's okay. I'm going to show you, actually I'm going to go show you right now. So here's the thing, if you don't know what something is, like run IP A to check, well, it says what is IP, and it'll tell you. Okay? Manipulate routing, okay, you can do that. And also there's the things called the man files, the manual files, MAN-IP. And it tells you what these are. To get out of this, you just press Q to quit. It takes you back to your command prompt. Okay, so remember these two. What is, and space in the command, and then the man files, man, space, and the command. Right here, what it's asking for is IP space A. This is IP address. So this is the command, and this is an option. Okay, so IP A. Case sensitive, meaning you got to watch your uppercase letters and lowercase letters. You also have to watch for your spaces and things like that. Type text is not available, so you'll have to be typing in the commands exactly as they are written. Okay. The main ETH0 adapter is configured to use DHCP. ETH0, there it is. Where's it at? DHCP servers are configured to reserve an address where the last octet is .192 for the PT1 Kali VM. Okay. Let's just say it does. Yes, I do want to do that. Thank you. So we're going to run the following 2 commands to start the web server. Another handy Linux command for you is clear, C-L-E-A-R, and that will take everything off and you'll be able to get a nice clean screen there. Okay, system control. System control is a Linux command that you use for startup things. All right. S-I-S-T-E-M-C-T-L, start. Apache 2, that is web server, right? A-P-A-C-H-E 2. Make sure I get those right. All right, run the following 2 commands to start the web server and open the local website in the browser. So that's what we're doing. We're starting the local start the web server, which in our case is Apache 2. Okay, so there we go. And then we are going to Firefox. That's the command. Where is it located? HTTP : whoops, that's a question mark, : / localhost. And look at that. It did. It opened it right up. Note the way that the commands are formatted with the shaded boxes. When entering longer commands, ignore any line breaks within the shaded boxes. And sometimes too, doing this will help. Okay. Okay, identify appliance VMs. So, didn't say we could, but I'm going to go ahead and just close Firefox here. There we go. So now we're going to go to RT1 local. These appliance VMs are RT01 local, RT2 ISP, RT3 INT. These VMs are running the VIOS distro and are used to route traffic between the different subnets configured on the various virtual switches. All right, so there we go. You will be discovering more about about the network topology in later activities, so we will not explain more here. Thank you. If you do not want to investigate, or if you do want to investigate the VIOS configurations, then you can log in with the password, but we're not going to be doing that. So UTM1. UTM1. This is a UTM security appliance created by Netgate from the open BSD version of Unix way back in the day. pfSense is operated using a web GUI, and there is the URL for that. The username, the username is admin and the password is password. The VM is not included in this orientation lab. That's why I couldn't find it. And then you've got your SIEM1 security onion. Hooray, love me a SIEM, is a network security monitoring tool. It provides various GUI and web interfaces to its intrusion detection and incident monitoring tools. The username is administrator and the password is password, and it is not included in this orientation lab. Okay, so now we got a LAMP also. There are 2 servers. A LAMP server is built on Ubuntu server distro. This is also a Linux and runs the familiar, see here's L for Linux, A for Apache, that is your web server, M for MySQL, and P for PHP functions. LAMP is also installed with email and DNS servers. As a server distro, this VM has no GUI shell, which means if we do need to go in and interact with the LAMP server, we will be doing everything by command line. And this VM is not included in the orientation lab. Then we have, LX1 is a CentOS Linux distro. And we know that CentOS is a Red Hat, isn't it? That has been installed with intentionally vulnerable web services. This VM is usually positioned on the local network with the Windows VMs and has a DHCP reservation for the address of 10.1.0.10. The username for CentOS is CentOS and the password is password. Okay, this one has a GUI for us. Nice. So we know how to do the assisted and applied labs. We don't really need to go into this because we know that in the assisted labs you can go back and change your answers and until you get it right. But with the applied lab, those you make a mistake, you just keep on going. Many of the tasks are scored by a script that checks whether you've completed the required configuration. Yes, yes, yes. We've already done this. So we are going to open this one. So it looks like we want to go back to PowerShell. I'm glad I didn't close it. There's PowerShell. Okay. Oh, okay. Right click, run as administrator, yes. Here we go. Run the following command to output the IP configuration to a text file. Okay, so we have to make sure we do this right. And here's another one too. See, look at this. See, do that so you can see the whole thing. IP config space /all space redirector. Okay, so we have our $env : no spaces. Okay, caps lock, user profile, caps lock off. And then we need \desktop ipconfig.txt. So that's basically what this is doing, is that ipconfig all, right? And then redirector, we're sending it to this, just created this ipconfig text. All right, so here we go. Press enter. Let's wait for it. Back over here. Am I over here? Enter. Come on now. There it goes. I pressed enter a couple times because I was just not patient enough. Okay, so let's score that. Right. What information is output by the ipconfig command? Let's see. Address information for local interfaces, address information for remote interfaces, port configuration for local services, port configuration for remote services. I think it's all of the above. No, try running the tool to study the output. Okay. ipconfig. Oh, all right. Address information for local interfaces. There it is. Information about local information interfaces such as IP address and netmask, default gateway, DNS servers, static or DHCP assigned configuration, MAC address, and host name. There they are. Right. Which of the following domains should be identified by the network adapter configuration on the Windows VMs? That's this guy right here. In which type of lab can you change your response to a scored item is assisted lab. Let's grade it. Yes, I'm done. All right, I passed. So at this point, you can take a picture of what you've got going on there. You can print this here, upload it, however you would like to do it, to submit it. Right, so done. It's done.